to the VHS vault. I am VHS Chase, and next to me, right over there, is my good friend Jason Roy Gaston. How are you, sir?
I am in the Christmas spirit, and I could not be happier.
I'm feeling rather festive too. I'm not
Oh
quite
my goodness, yes.
there yet, where I'm going to be, wearing Christmas stuff just yet. But I'm feeling it, Jace. I'm feeling it coming through the air, and
It's here.
knowing
It's here.
it's here. And
It's
knowing that
here.
you are the anti-Grinch, you are all about Christmas. You love yourself some Christmas.
I do.
You put down a mandate and right, it's December, Christmas movies, fatty, we're doing them. And I went, gee, did you really have to insult me? But okay, let's do it.
Of course I did. I did.
Yeah.
I had to.
And what we're talking tonight is a film that was, well, pretty epic when I was a kid, and that is Santa Claus the Movie.
The movie. Just like
Wow.
Superman the movie. You will believe a man and his reindeer can fly.
Well, it's made by the same producers, Jason, the Soul Kinds.
You kind of have a Lex Luthor in this too. Oh my gosh, this was a Superman movie.
There are some parallels, Jason, that we will discuss tonight about the parallels between Superman the movie and Santa Claus the movie. Because it's there, Jason. It's there quite a bit. So, which I'm kind of really looking forward to. Made in 1985 and certainly made after Supergirl because they had a massive flop with Supergirl.
Yes,
it just didn't work. And so their next attempt, and this is when the Soul Kinds were worth, like they were the big players in town. Yeah, they decided to develop a Santa Claus the Movie.
Because that's what you do, yes.
That's what you do. I mean, how do you top the character of Superman?
Jesus.
You got two choices. Yeah, there's Jesus or there's Santa, all right? So they flipped the coin and they landed on Santa. Mate, what were your memories? What did you see this at the cinema? Is this one you actually went to go and see as a kid?
I saw Santa Claus the movie in cinemas. I was 9 years old, and as I remember correctly, we had a mall, we had a movie theater in the mall, and I think my parents just dropped me off at the movie theater to watch this movie while they could go shop without us hanging on their legs going, I want, which is what they just did in the 80s. I thought I had seen this again on home media, but I don't think I did. I think this is the first time that I revisited this movie since 1985. And I'm eager to tell you my thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into it because let's start off what this film really is, well, there's two, maybe three movies in the one movie here. And it's kind of like Superman the movie. And then we do get our very extended prologue of the opening of this movie, the origins of our hero of the movie, Santa Claus.
Did you notice that the actress who plays Aunt May in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies is in this movie, and she was old in 1985?
I did not spot her.
She was the woman who was telling the story at the very beginning. And it comes back, and I was just like, is that Aunt May? Has she always been old?
Wow. This may not have... Well, the two biggest names in this movie in 1985 would have been Dudley Moore and John Lithgow, right? To the general audience. Burgess Meredith, but really the big star of this movie is David Huddleston, who does an exceptional job of Santa Claus the movie. Look, I'm just going to put it out there with this film. If I had to try to describe what Santa Claus was in my mind, what it represented, what it looked like, who he was as a character, this film nails it. Nails it perfectly of who he is. And we get it in this... I love this origin. I absolutely love this origin about a little toy maker and his wife who get summoned to be... It's not also a remake of Superman. It's also got a bit of the Matrix in it as well, if you don't.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Santa's Neo in this scenario. But, he's the chosen one. He is the chosen one. Whoa. But yeah, it's a wonderful, beautiful, cute little opening to see Santa Claus basically take on the mantle and what is in that. It's the first 40 minutes are really magical of this film.
They are. I love how this movie just creeps its way through history, not only
Mm,
showing where Kris Kringle and Mrs. Claus come from, but also how they get to the North Pole, where the red suit comes from.
mm,
I loved the gag about them reading The Night Before Christmas, and they
mm.
get to the line about his belly jiggled like a bowl full of jelly, and he just turns around. What?
Yeah, he was not happy. He
I
was not
just
happy.
thought that was incredibly inventive. But yes, it is
They,
it is absolutely pure magic. This
oh,
movie,
it's,
the North Pole sets are so colorful and joyful, and there's just so much color in this movie, and it's just wonderful. I also like how Santa Claus is basically like, who are all you people, all you very short people? We prefer to be called elves, and I'm just like, they're like 6 inches shorter than you, Santa. Quit calling them
yeah,
short. They
kind of
could
the same height
they
as your
could
wife.
tiptoe and look you right in the eye.
How good was Mrs. Claus? I'm just looking for the actress's name right now. She was wonderful in this.
The,
Judy Cornwell
both
played
of
Mrs.
them,
Claus.
both of them
And
had such wonderful chemistry together. They were warm. They were everything that you would want Santa and Mrs. Claus to be.
absolutely, it's absolutely on point. And why they're still on Krypton? Sorry, the North Pole. Why they're still in the
Oh,
North
they're
Pole?
they're at the Fortress of Solitude,
Yeah, yeah. No, there's this
the
wonderful
Fortress of
sequence, and
Clausitude.
this movie shows you where the money was spent
Yes. Hmm.
straight away, right? On
Yes,
sets. Because you mentioned it, the sets, dude, they're outstanding in the
they are.
detail. They are
Yes,
massive and they are absolutely gorgeous to look at.
they are.
Um, Everything works well. And you know what? This movie isn't driven with what you would think would drive this movie, which would normally be a musical. There would be musical numbers in this. They don't do it in this movie, and I really appreciate it. They play the whimsy, they play the magic without having to get into song. And I really did. The first 40 minutes for me of this film is almost flawless. I really struggle to pick out, and I watched the opening. There's Judy Cornwell there, absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, what a great Santa he plays.
Oh,
Um,
he's wonderful.
but it
Yes.
is flawless. This opening, I can't pick anything negative to say about it. It's just so beautifully done.
I
Um,
can't either. I also have to point out the inclusion of Burgess Meredith in this movie as I guess, the elder elf. Just the beard being carried by the attendees, and he was given like fourth billing in this movie, and he's only in it for a minute, like literally
for a
just a
minute.
minute. And it's weird because in my brain, I thought Billy Barty played this part. And then I watched it. I'm like, wait a second. He's walking in. Going, that's not Billy Barty. That's Burgess. That's the penguin. Yeah,
And
Santa
he
Claus.
looks really old there, but he
Yes,
lived another 10 years.
he did. Yes,
Yeah, because he lived for a while later. So he was straight off playing Mickey, I reckon, around that time. He would have been in.
yeah.
Oh, no, he was dead by then. Like 1985, yeah, they killed off Mickey by then. But either way, yeah. It's just so grandiose, so spectacular, so shot in, cinemascape almost. It's very old Hollywood, don't you think?
There are moments of, I don't want to say heaviness, but importance in this movie.
Mm.
Whenever they're waiting for the Christmas star to pass overhead, to signal the beginning of Christmas,
Oh,
it's important. And it's
it
important to
is
these elves,
important.
and you can tell it. The inclusion of the elder of the elder elf.
Mm.
It
The
is
importance
it
of
is
the
just
elder elf,
treated.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just treated with this wonderful
Mm.
reverence, and I think that gives this movie not only a sense of whimsy, but a sense of this is something important. And I really think even someone as old and cynical as me, I think that myths like Santa Claus mean something to us still,
They
and to
do.
see it cared for and nurtured and put up by movies like this and do it justice, it's just wonderful. It does your heart it does your heart good to see something like this.
It does. It does. It also, as if any of the kids who went and saw it that maybe were starting to get a bit older and questioning some of the mythology, they come up with a great explanation, as far as I'm concerned, of how Santa does what he does. How? Because the question is, how does Santa get it all done in a night? Well, time and space move differently for
Yes,
Santa.
it's very
Very Doctor Who-ish. I'm down with it. It works for me. It's an explanation that I go, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
So Santa is basically visiting all of these houses every night, billions of houses every Christmas. Christmas must be an absolute living hell for this man. He must.
Well, there is that one scene
go
where
to
he's
the
almost
North Pole.
Exhaustion.
Yeah, he must go to the North Pole and just lay in his bed and cry, knowing that next Christmas is coming and that he's going to have another billion years of torment as he goes from house to house to house.
But he is up for it. It's always what he wanted to do, so he's the perfect candidate.
You know me, I got to find the darkness in everything.
Yeah, well, the darkness comes after the 40-minute mark for me, and this is where we're going to get into some discussion, where this movie moves away from Krypton and the farm, and we go to the big city.
Where Lex Luthor is waiting.
Where Lex Luthor is waiting, and the kid.
Yes.
I want to talk about the kid. Now, I'm going
to be nice. Be nice.
I'm going to be nice about the kid because it's not really the kid that I have a massive problem with. It might be. I'm just trying to find a picture of this kid.
That's not him.
Kid?
That's not him.
That's not
there he is. There he is.
There he is. There's the kid. Now, this kid is a homeless kid, right? He's a street kid. This is who we get introduced to. Okay, I can go with that. Street kid is supposed to be a smart kid, but is willing to jump into a sled with a fat bearded stranger just because he said he's Santa Claus. I'll kind of go with that. What bothered me?
He's got a lot to lose.
No, he hasn't got a lot to lose. But this is the only flaw I found in Santa in this movie. Santa is so giving and wants to make sure everyone's happy and spoiled. If I'm right, and tell me if I'm wrong here, he meets this kid one year, takes him on a journey. They go for a bit of a trip, dumps a kid, comes back a year later. Like, no follow-up. No follow-up. So the kid had to live on the streets for another year? Like, what's kind of going on there? Raising some red flags for me.
Well, you know, Santa Claus could have come back and said, hey, it's time for another ride. The kid comes out going, Santa, I thought you was a hallucination. I've been getting into some
thinking of that scene where Jack Black's tied to the tree, dropping thunder, and what he will do to get what he needs. Anyway, let's move it on. No, that's the only flaw.
I could make you go ho ho ho, Santa. That's right. You don't know what jolly is, Santa. Yeah, Santa should have just get home with him.
Yeah, what do you think about the idea of this homeless kid being a key character in this as the human kid?
I didn't really have an issue with the character, although looking back, he's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, he's the Indiana Jones of this movie.
Yes.
Whether he's in the plot or not, it's inconsequential. The Ark was going to get to that island. Santa was going to keep doing what he was going to do, and John Lithgow was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just easily had the little girl play that part. And there would have been very little, except, you know, I guess they had to show that she was giving and that she was, you know, she was cool with, you know, she was
not like her uncle. Yeah. She was not like her uncle.
No,
and I understand that. Yeah. The other big role in this film is the character we're going to talk about is our man Patches, who played by the wonderfully talented late Dudley Moore.
Oh, I miss that guy. By that
point. Yeah, who had been in Arthur was probably his big breakout American role.
Yes.
But yeah, he plays Patches, and Patches is an interesting character, isn't he? Because he's so driven by his own pride that he wants to show Santa at any cost how good assistant he could be. And I go, Patches ain't 100% all good, is he?
Not really. He's definitely got some character flaws. But at the same time, he's also a very naive character.
Yeah.
He thinks, oh, if I just do this, Santa will take me back. If I just do this, Santa will see how good I am, and that's how kids
Yeah.
think. That's
But he
I
also
got it whenever I was watching the movie. I thought, yeah, that's that. Yeah, Santa will
he,
see. Santa will take it back.
it's also a there's a nice little, especially with Patches, there's this nice little messaging about quality over quantity in this,
Yes.
where he's competing with another elf about who's going to be head elf, basically. And Patches has got that really great little machine that just produces all the toys at a massive speed. And then you've got the other elf who's working very much on quality. So like I said, it's Patches versus this guy on the right there. And they go toe to toe. And because of the mass output, Santa decides, yep, Patches, the gig is yours. So mistake there, Santa. Not a good choice. And it all goes haywire very quickly. All the kids start getting toys that are probably less than standard.
Yeah,
But I found it
it's Timu. It's Timu toys. Yeah,
toys.
Patches
Absolutely.
forms Timu by accident.
Yeah, basically. It's with the Patches thing, the whole storyline, I'm like, yeah, like you are really dumb, Patches. You're really dumb, and not one point this could have all been avoided by you just talking to Santa. But I don't want to rag on it too much because one of the highlights of this movie,
Oh my
Jace,
gosh.
he is incredible and he's let loose. I would say it's almost, for anybody who loved a Third Rock from the Sun, you're kind of getting the like elements of that character in this movie, with John Lithgow playing just the most over the top villain.
I laughed out loud so many times at this, especially whenever Patches tells him they're going to give it away for free. Just Lithgow's reaction. And Dudley Moore just saying, "Oh, that's amazing! How are you getting your face to turn all red like that?" I just that whole sequence. I had to rewind it because I was laughing so fast. I just thought it was
John Lithgow hams up every line so broadly, but is able to pull it off. Now, like, I'm amazed it took him that long, another 10 years to be in comedy, to get to Third Rock from the Sun, because he is hilarious. I mean, at that point, Jason, he was probably most known for his Academy Award-winning role in The World According to Garp, right?
Yes. Yeah. I knew him from the Twilight Zone movie, because that's
yes.
still my favorite John Lithgow performance is in that Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, it's an absolutely stellar performance by John Lithgow in this movie. This is a movie, for me, it has a very strong beginning. The second act, I have some issues with, but it finishes strongly for me.
It does. The narrative changing its focus does not do this movie any favors. It does. It feels like two movies just smushed into each other. But I can also understand why they did it, because this film needed an antagonist. It needed an antagonist to tell a story with conflict. Because
they needed a story.
Yeah, up until the 40-minute mark, there's absolutely no conflict at all. It's just basically a Santa storybook.
Well, that wrote itself, didn't it? We're going to tell the origin of Santa. Boom, done. But it's then what is the movie afterwards? What is this movie? You know?
Yeah.
And I think, Jason, they were trying to set up a franchise. I know it might sound ridiculous, but I think they were going to set up to do a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer sequel. I had heard that the Soulkinds wanted this to be a multi-picture thing. And I'm surprised. I don't think it made as much money as they were hoping. In fact, I can tell you that
it had a budget of $50 million and only made 25 of it back. So it was a bit of a bomb, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the critics were not kind to this movie at all. And I was reading some of the reviews of it. There was a very well-respected critic. I don't have it with me, so I can't remember who it was, but he called it charmless. And all I could think of is, did you watch the same movie I did?
It is. Maybe they missed the point of what it is, because it is very much, to me, a harkening back to those old Hollywood Christmas movies. I think it very much sits in that realm. just with that spirit with it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the cynicism of you know, the mid-'80s when it was all about commercialism and, you know.
Well, there
The
is
one thing they do
commercialism in
talk
this movie, though. I mean, there's lots of it. Did you see all the Coca-Cola product placement?
everywhere.
Yeah, I especially like the part where the little girl leaves a meal for the little homeless boy, and the
And it's a can of
camera.
Coke.
Yeah, there's a can of Coke label pointed right at the camera, and the kid, good, just
Yeah.
he enjoyed
Absolutely.
that Coke. My goodness, he enjoyed it.
Okay, now, this is my cynicism coming through. So let's face it, right? The answer to all the kids is to feed them some magic powder that will make them high.
Yeah, it's a
So the whole
Christmas
plot
cocaine.
is
Yeah.
the savior, the things that make things amazing is this sparkly powder. So, I don't know. Maybe there might have been a cocaine problem in the writer's room. I don't know. But did you not see that parallel there?
I did see the parallel. As a matter of fact,
Ugh.
that's what I kept calling it, was Christmas cocaine.
Christmas cocaine.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
Christmas
my name is Roxo, and I do cocaine. That's all I could think of the entire time. Especially whenever they give it to the reindeer, because the reindeer just get super excited and they all start shaking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they are so high.
Everyone's high. And in the candy canes. And the fact that if you put too much cocaine together, I'm thinking, oh, maybe they're doing a thing where they're trying to see what happens when you cook cocaine. Too much together in your heat, this stuff explodes.
I like to think that this is a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You have to cook.
But
it's Christmas cook.
Instead of Walter White, we've got Santa.
Yeah. Santa is Walter White.
Absolutely.
Dudley Moore is Jesse Pink. I don't know. The Easter Bunny is probably Gustavo Fring. I don't know.
Now, can I just say, like, why the Soulkinds didn't sue George Lucas over this, I never know. Because to me, I'm looking at this, which is a great vehicle, but I'm thinking of that racer that Anakin had at the beginning of episode 2. Maybe a little bit different, but
I'm thinking it's a little bit of Willy Wonka right there, to be honest.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And it's nice. I mean, the thing is with this film, when it comes to special effects, the matte work on this is pretty bad. I've got to say. It's not the best. If I show you, I mean, that's a great moment.
I love that moment, and it shows that if you cross Santa, you will die alone in the vacuum of space.
I mean, it's not too bad when they're at night, but we get to see something I'd never seen before. This film was the sled flying during the day.
Yeah, and it looked really good, I thought.
You can see the black lines around it, but it wasn't.
It's the 1980s. You saw black lines around
I'm being
everything.
Judgy. I'm being judgy.
No, it's fine. Be judgy. But go on Santa's naughty list. You just go right ahead.
I don't want to be on this man's naughty list. Look how nice he is. He's just the nicest guy.
But he's also one of those people, like, he kind of reminds me of David Harbour's Santa Claus, where he's nice and he's kind, but if you cross him, the jacket goes off and he's got like guns and he's like, ho, ho, ho. I'm going to make this a violent night.
Where's my sequel to Violent Night? I need that.
Thank you very much. We need another Violent Night.
Yes, we do. I'm going to actually go see that Silent Night too. I think that looks good. John Woo's new film. Either way, we're talking Santa Claus the movie. 1985. This is a big attempt at talking about this mythology. And really for its time, it's made for kids back in 1985. And I just think it's almost a perfect representation of Santa Claus and what we know of him from the Western culture. Like, that's Santa, like in every essence of it. And because of that, this film is the best adaptation in my mind that I've ever seen of Santa. I don't care what you say about the Santa Clauses. I know you may love them out there, but this is my Santa. I think there's been a better representation of what we think Santa would be as a kid ever put on film. There's some great other Santas, like David Harbour's Santa's awesome. But it's not the one I thought of as a kid.
I have to agree, and I think that the fact that the actor who played Santa was not super well known and he was hidden behind the beard. Whenever I see Tim Allen playing Santa Claus, I see Tim Allen playing Santa Claus. When I see David Harbour playing Santa Claus, I see David Harbour playing Santa Claus. This movie starred Santa Claus. I mean, that's just it. Bottom line, this movie starred Santa Claus. And I think that really helps sell the magic of this story, is that this is a movie with Santa Claus in it. It's played perfectly, it's cast perfectly, and it's just...
And David Huddleston, if you're watching the film and you're going, but I know that face. Here's 2 other films from his things that you may know him from. Blazing Saddles. He has a couple of unbelievable lines in that film, which I can't repeat. And the other being The Big Lebowski.
Yes, he's in The Big Lebowski, isn't he?
He plays the old guy from the mansion. So he is a wonderful actor. And, he lived to the ripe old age of 85 years old. So he only died in 2016. So he had a long life and well-deserved. And I'm really sorry that he didn't get a chance to play this character again because he just embodies it so well, you know? Yeah.
I blame all of you who didn't go see it. I blame all of you.
Yeah. I blame my parents for not taking me enough. Is there anything about this film that really bugged you, Jason, though?
I think that some of the narrative choices bugged me. As I've already said, I think that it's kind of jarring that it goes from this origin story to this capitalism is bad situation. I also think that it's kind of weird that Santa Claus basically kidnaps 2 children at the end as well. Yeah. Because this little girl has parents somewhere. She has family that are going to be wondering where she is. Yeah. And then Santa's going to drop her off a year later? What?
A year.
Yeah. Santa is extremely he's extremely irresponsible in this movie.
There's a bit of mixed messaging when you're talking about stranger danger, and then you got Santa. It's okay, Santa can take color kids.
I also found issue, like you said, with Santa basically leaving the homeless kid out on the streets and then coming back a year later. It's me, it's your old pal Santa. Yeah. I was put into a mental institution, Santa. Where did you go?
I think they made this film a go picture based on the opening, what they had. I don't think this film started filming with a completed script. Because I think it's obvious as we get to the second half of this movie. That's where the problems are. This movie runs at a fairly lean 108 minutes. So what, an hour and 48? You know, without credits, you're talking around just over an hour and 30. Yet it does drag in that second half until we get to the third act. And deep in the third act before it starts to really fire again.
It's also interesting that Santa and BZ never meet. They never share a scene together. So it's another one of those things I honestly think that this movie would have been better if BZ had been tied to Santa in some way, tied to Santa's history. Maybe he was picked to be Santa Claus before the other Santa Claus, and then they realized he had a darkness in his heart, so they threw him out.
No,
he kept his immortality.
How's this? When he's on his way to deliver those presents at the beginning in the village, he never makes it to that village to deliver the present to the kid that he wanted delivered to. That should have been the kid.
Yeah, just
there you go. There's the tie. I 1 year never got a present from you. Everyone else in the village got their present. I didn't. And there's your tie. We could sit down here and write a pretty good. The problem is they go so deep into the lore and they do it so well. I mean, so well do they handle the myth of Santa Claus that the movie really struggles when it's not about that. It just should have been about that all the way through. This could have had an hour-and-a-half movie setting up Santa and do the story of Rudolph.
Yeah. We could have done that. We could have done lots of interesting things with this character.
Could have kept it where it was. Hey, I will say, I'm good with the reindeers. I like the puppet reindeers. I understand at that time they wanted them to be able to emote, have different characters and define those characters, and they were able to do that with the what are they? puppets plus a bit of
Puppets,
animatronics.
Muppets,
Yeah.
not really. I don't know.
They
I
seem
thought
like
that they looked
they
good.
were
I
hand
liked
in hand.
them. Yeah, I liked
I
them.
did too, and I thought they did a good job defining who they were.
Yes. Yes, me too.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that my only wish would have been that we would have got a sequel to this film, because I think you got your cast nailed. You've got the look nailed. The music by Henry Mancini is absolutely so Christmas that, you drink it, you probably turn into a Christmas tree. It is so dense in Christmas spirit. Yeah, I mean, you've got all the ingredients there for just a series of Santa Claus movies. I wish they'd kind of done. But I'm glad this movie exists, and this is a film that I will absolutely show my grandkids one day, because I feel it does represent Santa the way I would like my grandkids to look at Santa like.
Yes, this is a unbelievably charming movie, even with its flaws. There is just this charm and magic to it, and it is one of the most Christmassy movies you will ever see, and I just cannot imagine anybody regretting watching it. It is just wonderful. It is wonderful. It is bright. It is great. It is ho 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 ho. Love it.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, that's it. I think we both agree this is a film that if you haven't seen and you're looking maybe for a film this year, you don't want to watch Elf for the 400th time. You don't want to watch the same much Harley Brown Christmas. Maybe this is a film you haven't seen as much of. It should go check it out. You finished watching Christmas Story. Now it's time to watch Santa Claus the Movie. Because I don't think this is probably in rotation in enough people's homes. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is.
It should be.
It should be. It absolutely should be. So there we go. Santa Claus the Movie. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're feeling a bit grinchy, chuck it on. I think you walk away feeling a bit more that your blackened heart is starting to beat a bit more now. A bit more Christmas spirit in the
tiny heart will grow 3 sizes. You should probably go to the emergency room, though, because that's a serious medical condition.
Yeah, that's usually going to end up in cardiac arrest. So... yeah, wonderful. I've got nothing more to say about this film except David Huddleston, thank you, because you will always be my Santa now.
Mine as well.
All right, so what's next? What's coming up in this month of December, Jason?
Goodness,
it is Christmas time.
It is Christmas time, so we are going to tackle the holiday classic, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare.
Oh, sounds so sweet.
But we have more actual Christmas coming up, because I understand, I hear through the grapevine that you are living a life of shame, and I think it's something that we need to talk about and we need to confront right now. You are an abomination because you have never experienced the classic holiday tale of A Christmas Story.
I have not. And in my defense, if I can defend such a thing, which I don't think I can, but
you can't.
But I will try. I'll attempt. That movie is not super popular here in Australia.
Okay, then your entire
not a
country,
film that
your entire country is
in
wrong.
The zeitgeist of Australia. Well, I'll be interested to see. This is what I've never seen it. I know the kid. I more know the kid from being the scientist that the Big Lebowski yelled at in Iron Man, saying, "Tony built it in a cave." But I know the actor Peter Billingsley, but I don't know anything about it. But I'll be interested to see in the film why it hasn't caught on here like it's caught on in America.
Because they don't say the C word enough.
Nah, it's probably what it is. It's probably what it is. I have a feeling this is a very Americana movie, and that's probably the reason why. But I'm looking forward to seeing it because, I ain't seen it. Let's see what all the fuss is about.
So, Freddy's Dead, and then the next week, A Christmas Story. So,
brilliant.
Tune in 2 weeks, or if it's been 2 weeks, you can tune in now.
Exactly.
Just check the playlist.
And by the way, if you want to challenge us whether Freddy is an appropriate Christmas movie, just look at his jumper. Yeah. You want any more Christmas than that? Come on, people. Come on.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
He does. Ooh, that's creepy. I love it. We'll see you guys next time on the VHS Vault. Oh man, I want to see that team up movie. Santa v Freddy.
Oh, Santa would whoop his butt because Santa never sleeps. Santa just waits. So Freddy
Oh,
would
that's
never.
crossover. Let's get David Harbour play that version of Santa. You could have Jason. You could have Freddy. We can make it like a Christmas themed kind of story where they've all got to save Christmas somehow. I'm in.
And Santa has to team up with the Krampus. Oh,
Yes.
somebody call the studio.
Hollywood, send us money now.